Every year during the Obon festival, two brothers would travel with their family to their grandfather's countryside home in Akita for an overnight stay. However, one year, the brothers went as usual, but only the younger brother returned home. What happened to his older brother? It is said that while they were playing in the rice fields, they saw a wriggling white or black shadow known as Kune Kune. This encounter resulted in the older brother never being able to return home. In today's video, we will delve into the modern urban legend of Kune Kune. The legend of Kune Kune first emerged on Japan's popular forum 2 channel. It was once the largest forum in Japan, beloved by the public for its anonymity feature, which led to numerous posts about crime forecasts, ghost stories, urban legends, and more appearing on the site. 2 channel featured many viral modern urban legends, including Hasa Kusama and Kisaragi Station. In 2003, a story about the wriggling ghost Kune Kune captured the attention of countless people. The post described Kune Kune as typically having a slender, white, paper or fabric-like humanoid-shaped yokai, and is usually said to appear in fields on hot summer days. Its name, Kune Kune, is derived from its alleged behavior of wiggling its limbs. It is said that Kune Kune, unlike typical yokai, is not afraid of the sun and only appears during hot days, usually in summer, and often in crop fields and by rivers. Unlike aggressive yokai, Kune Kune generally remains at a distance, swaying back and forth, and does not approach people. Kune Kune not approaching or attacking people doesn't mean it's not dangerous. If you ignore it, you're safe. But if you try to closely observe or approach it, you should think twice, as it can be very dangerous. Why do I say this? Let's revisit the story from the anonymous poster on 2 channel, and you'll understand why it's so dangerous. Let's call the anonymous poster Kenji. The story took place when he was a child, spending the night with his family at their grandfather's countryside home in Akita during the Obon festival. Kenji and his brother, born in the city, loved playing in the countryside fields, catching loaches, chasing ducks, and catching insects, without fear of getting scolded for getting dirty. Going back to the countryside for a holiday was a joyful event for the brothers. That summer, Kenji and his brother were playing tag near the rice fields as usual. The countryside was vast, with beautiful meadows and plenty of places to run and play. Suddenly, Kenji's brother stopped in his tracks, and curious Kenji went to see what had happened to his brother. His brother was staring in one direction, where there was a scarecrow in the distance. Kenji said dismissively, "It's just a scarecrow, right?" His brother, annoyed by the interruption, pointed and said he didn't just see the scarecrow. There seemed to be something strange wriggling behind it. Kenji looked in the direction his brother pointed, and both of them saw the strange white shadow. Due to the distance, they couldn't clearly see what was behind the scarecrow. They could only vaguely see a white figure, constantly wriggling, looking somewhat human but not quite. At first, Kenji thought the wind was making the white thing move, but then the wind around them stopped, yet the distant white scarecrow continued to wriggle. Without wind, the scarecrow couldn't move on its own. So, what was that white, wriggling thing in the distance? The movements were so extreme that no normal person could move like that. Driven by curiosity, his brother decided to run home to get a binocular to see what the white, wriggling thing was. Shortly after, Kenji's brother returned with the binocular and looked through it at the mysterious white object. Kenji noticed his brother's face turning pale, cold sweat breaking out, and he started trembling. Soon after, his brother dropped the binocular to the ground standing there in shock. Frightened by his brother's reaction, Kenji quickly asked what he had seen. Initially, his brother didn't respond. After a long pause, he suddenly said to Kenji, "No, it's better if you don't know." His voice sounded strange, almost like someone else. After saying that, his brother ran back home, leaving Kenji alone in the field. What should have been a joyful atmosphere turned inexplicably heavy. Kenji looked at the binocular on the ground and picked it up, wanting to find out what had frightened his brother. Just as Kenji was about to use the binocular, his grandfather suddenly rushed out to stop him, anxiously saying, "Don't look. You must not look at that thing." When his grandfather asked if Kenji had seen the white shadow through the binocular, he answered no. Hearing this, his grandfather sighed in relief and took him back home. On the way, his usually cheerful grandfather was silent. Seeing his grandfather's pale face, Kenji didn't ask further questions. Back home, Kenji noticed something was wrong. His parents and grandmother were crying. More terrifying was the brother behind them. Kenji's brother started behaving strangely, laughing and wriggling just like the white figure they saw in the field. Up close, his brother's wild laughter and writhing body were horrifying. Kenji was scared. His grandmother, crying, said they would leave his brother in the countryside for the grandparents to take care of. His brother's condition made it impossible to return to the city. Considering people's judgment and the small city home, leaving his brother there would cause great trouble. With no other choice, they decided to leave his brother there for observation. In the end, Kenji went back to the city with his parents, while his brother stayed at their grandfather's house. On the way home, Kenji sadly looked at the countryside through the car window, hoping his brother would return to normal someday. Some say Kune Kune is just a scarecrow swaying in the wind, creating an illusion. Others suggest it might be an Itarnmomin, though Itarnmomin typically appears only at night, unlike Kune Kune, who appears during the day. Some even say Kenji's brother disappeared years after the incident. Perhaps one day, if you see a white figure swaying in the rice fields, it might be Kenji's missing brother. But now, he is the Kune Kune in the field, and if you try to observe him up close, you might be the next. If you enjoy my channel, please help by hitting the subscribe button and turning on the notification bell so you won't miss my upcoming videos. Thank you for watching until the end, and I'll see you next time.